All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for this last part of the Burning Wheel, at least this week's session of a Burning Wheel. Post Duel of Wits. Let's talk a bit about that. I am curious to have it brought forward. Like, how did Shihao take his defeat in this regard? Like, what does he feel about the terms that were agreed upon?
Well, the first thing to note is that he's definitely gotten just a little drop of respect for Nikki. Because, turns out Mr. Thok can actually string together an argument. I didn't know that. Aside from that, he's definitely thoughtful. He did, because as the result was, Nikki managed to actually make an argument that was rather convincing. And in that regard, he's thinking, well, it's certainly good practice, and because it doesn't mean he's incapable of casting spells or anything like that, I think perhaps, and that's again playing to his pride, as I mentioned earlier, I think he's curious to see how he'll do.
This is fine. I can do that. It's not like that would be a problem for me.
Exactly.
Cut to a week later. Mano, how do you do this?
Boss, can I please, could we reevaluate my contract?
Nope.
Why? This is the second time I have a dagger stabbed into me. I don't like it.
Alright, so, let's just, quickly before we finish this up, in a Duel of Wits, as with a fight, you get a check, right? So, like what you used the most, you get a check for that thing, whatever. Like, so take an advancement for, I guess, Nicholas take an advancement for persuasion, a routine check for persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
And Shihao take a, I guess this is just take either a check towards unlocking persuasion or towards unlocking religious diatribe.
So no checks towards will.
I mean, you only made routine checks,
and I can't use those. That's true.
Hvis du nu havde en vilje som en regnorm. Oh, sorry. If you had a will like a earthworm, then maybe.
Yeah.
So I can have one check towards unlocking one of those.
Yeah. So pick persuasion or religious diatribe. Those were the two you used, and then like start learning one of those.
What is religious diatribe useful for?
Well, it is what it is, right? It is making trying to make an argument, but like from the point of the bullshit spewing theologian.
Yeah, I'm going with persuasion.
Let's see. I'll find religious diatribe. It's fine that you go for that, but I'm just gonna find it and read it so we can establish for future uses how that plays out.
Also, if I may.
Yeah.
If I wanted to use rhetorics, how would I do that rather than persuasion then?
That's a good point. Usually, we would reach the agreement that you're using rhetoric and not persuasion, and that would earn you the check instead. But if you could,
because I'm guessing persuasion would be you should totally do that, whereas rhetorics would perhaps more be like, if it's a logos argument, fact, therefore this action is good, or something like that.
Rhetoric is a form of discourse centered on the conveyance of thought, idea, and concept in the interest of winning an argument. Whereas persuasion, I guess, is different.
They seem quite linked, don't they?
Yeah, so religious diatribe it's just two lines. This is a specialized form of oratory for angry religious people.
Yes.
I'm going with persuasion.
I'm imagining like a religious version of the guy from of the demagogue guy from Game of Thrones, where Tyrion and Bronn are walking down the streets, and he's like, "Brother fornicates with sister in the bed of kings. Are we surprised when the fruit of the incest is rotten? A prancing king dancing down his blood-stained halls to the tunes of a twisted demon monkey." That kind of talk, but like from the perspective of a religious person.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if I'm ever going to make like a Catholic priest or something, I want that skill.
Yeah, or you know, if and when she finds God and goes on.
I mean,
on to
it's
mission.
not like Shihaoji is he is quite religious. It's just a very single-minded religion.
Yeah, so you know,
That's
it could happen if you decide to take up the you of the teacher.
I mean, thinking of which, because this is a fantasy setting, when you say someone finds God, does that mean that they are converted to religion, or they literally find God?
Oh, hi God!
I mean, both of those are options.
Yes.
Maybe you find God, you roll a check, you roll your find God check, you succeed, and then God is like, okay, now you hide.
I love it.
Sounds good.
All right,
What are you doing? I'm playing hide and go seek with God.
so you've
Why?
marked a
That's gonna kill me.
exactly. So you've marked an advancement towards learning persuasion. Also take a routine steal test if that in any way improves, can advance your steal.
Let's have a look. Still, where are you? There you are.
Stål.
It cannot.
Okay.
My steal is great, but it's not better than my hesitation.
Wonderful.
Unfortunately.
Then there is just some, and this is the thing that I wanted to actually have resolved before we went into this debate, but it's fine because it didn't affect it. We need to deal with your wounds. Those of you who only have superficial wounds, give me an up 1 health test.
Okay, so a second. I need to get this cheesecake out.
No, you don't. Just let it burn.
What is? It's not. What did you say? Sorry, health test.
Yeah, those of you who just have superficial wounds, give me an up 1 health test.
No modifiers, I assume.
That's correct.
What did I
Good.
roll?
You succeed.
Good.
So the pain that you feel, like that you felt from the fight, recedes. It's gone. Remove your pips from your superficial wounds.
My what?
On the dots
The
on your
black
physical,
dots.
the dots on your grayscale. Remove.
I
those.
know what you meant, but what did you call them?
The pips.
Pips?
Yeah,
The fuck is a pip?
it's a dot
Sounds like something a bird would say.
or a Brit.
Or a bread.
It's a bread. Run.
Any
dear.
of you have any of you suffered a light wound?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have one of each.
I
Alright,
have
so
barely.
We just
two
concern
superficial.
ourselves with the highest wound.
All right.
So you have a light wound. You want to give me an up 2 health test. Now, before you roll, if you succeed, the pain fades immediately. If you fail, the pain remains for 24 hours, minus your fort exponent. Now, you can alleviate this by using your Blessed Hands spell on yourself. That will add dice to the recovery. But of course, it presents the risk of actually using the spell.
Do it, do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
All right. So you cast your Blessed Hands before you check for your health. Is that correct?
You know what? That'll be kind of hard. I just realized
Oh, why?
because the obstacle target is the target health.
That's correct.
My health is 5.
So you have a pretty high obstacle, and because you have a light wound, you also have 1 less die to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you gonna try the sorcery, or are you going to just rely on your good old physical durability to bring you out of this?
I'm pretty sure he's had a lot of light wounds before, so he's just gonna go with it.
All right, give me a health test then.
I have to find my health. My health just ran away from me. There it is. Modifiers none. So none. Base obstacle to submit.
Wonderful. Okay, so you succeed. Your pain fades immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki, did you suffer a superficial or a light wound last time?
I have 2 superficial wounds.
All right. So same story for you. You need to give me a obstacle 1 health test to make the pain fade immediately. Otherwise, it'll pay. For you, it let's see. Yeah. So in essence, it's not really that important to you. You will be over it, but you might as well give me the check.
So, health check, no modifiers, and base obstacle of 1.
Yeah.
Submit!
Boom. Good. So the pain fades immediately. All of you, if routine tests will help you advance your health, mark routine tests.
Also, I feel like we should tell Ansem to...
You need to be a bit louder than that. I could almost not hear you.
Alright.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Very, very low right now for some reason.
That's weird.
Like, could you just sing, sing me an opera or something, and then we'll see if Skype picks up your audio. And now
Ow,
speak.
my ears.
Does that help?
I don't know. You're just gonna have to be a bit loud until I tell you to quiet down, I guess.
Aw, that sucks.
That's better, yeah. So, what was your question, Rasmus?
I don't think I had one.
Okay, so could routine help any of you advance health?
I think it could for me.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
I definitely marked one.
Okay. Yeah, it absolutely could. Okay, good. So, routine health tests now done for the lot of you. And your wounds have recovered over the course of like a few moments.
That's good.
So you might have a light cut, but it stopped bleeding and no problem. So, when we rejoin you, as we do now, what are you doing? Are you do we find you in the midst of pulling off the heist, or do you have some more prep work you want to do?
I think the heist was quite time dependent.
It was.
So we should probably do that.
Yeah, I agree. We know that we can't really scout the area out without it taking too much time. We know that the guards are meant to be light. We've got the cart. We've got the.
Actually, we could totally Skype the area out however fast because I can turn into a bird.
Okay, well we could do that en route.
Yeah, I mean, you've
I would have
already,
done it on the charge.
you've had Evelyn scout the area over the past 3 weeks, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. So we know the area. We know the layout. We know the guard level. We have the means to get vaguely close because, well, between having 2 Stormlanders and 1 shabby-looking fellow, we can easily pass for refugees.
Cool.
Get close enough to do the job and then get out.
So I guess my question to you is, when we see you, and we'll probably see you like across the way from the location you need to break into, and like hidden in the shadows somewhere, what time of day is it, and how many of you are there?
Yes.
I would say that. It's an important job because it involves the whole gang prospering if we don't pull this off. So it's going to be. I want to say it's going to be around sort of evening time, not night time, but the light will be on the verge of. Well, the light will be the sun will just be on the horizon. It won't have dipped beneath it yet.
So we're talking like an orange glow to saturated orange glow to everything and long shadows.
Yes.
The shipment were supposed to be moved out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be us 3 main characters, and I think Evelyn and the 2 other guys that we know are otherwise occupying or have helped out before when we started the campaign will probably be there, so we can have hands-on to get crates loaded and whatnot.
So we the viewing audience see the triumphant return of Thug 1 and 2 from the pilot episode.
Yes. I mean, we felt so bad. They only had a cameo role, and we thought, you know what, we can make more use of these fine extras. So we decided to give them another part.
Yeah, sure. It's like a callback. They both look a little like they're on point, but also they throw like darting glances at Shihaoshi, who was very scary last time they saw him.
Yes.
And I mean, probably this time.
Yeah, there was probably like a brief scene before this takes place where they meet you and then immediately like turn around and run screaming again, and then they come back and get sort of acclimated to your presence so they can operate. Okay, so we find you like opposite the building in question. It's dusk as you describe, and you're there. There's a wagon with Strider attached to it, I guess. And the three of you, one Evelyn, and two smugglers, who, as of now, are nameless, but who shall be named if need be. So we find you there. So I guess describe to me what the place looks like that you're going to break into. What is this place? What does it look like? The place that the cloth has been stored in before it gets shipped out from the harbor front to whoever bought it.
I think it's going to be in a.
Set the scene for me.
Oh goodness me! Don't allow me to choose something.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I imagine because they'll probably sort of prepare in the morning. It's going to be inside. It's going to be in the warehouse. It's going to be. It's going to be. There won't be an open area in front. There'll be a small open area in front. It won't be too large because it will have various crates and whatnot in the way, creating kind of natural corridors through that little area. The cloth is located inside, stacked in crates, which are in turn stacked up close to the entrance so that they can be easily shifted outside tomorrow morning to be delivered to the proprietor.
Yeah.
I imagine the few guards that are there, you'll have a couple standing. You'll have at least two standing guard over the main door. You'll have. However many left will probably be either patrolling inside near the actual boxes or else just wandering the perimeter.
Yeah, probably like two standing vigil and then 4 patrolling the perimeter.
Yep.
Because there is half a dozen there. So.
Yes. Basically, it's set up in such a way that it should be relatively easy for us to go past the front in the cart, appearing like hapless refugees, without arousing too much suspicion, right up until the moment where we draw weapons or jump the two guards on the front. And we'd probably time it so that a patrol would be out of sight, if not directly out of earshot, because they could be quite loud.
Yes.
Should I roll my inconspicuous?
Not right now, you shouldn't, but I will bring it up. It's a good thing that you're mentioning it.
But basically,
yeah, go
I
on.
want to attack when it's only the two to deal with at first, so when the others come round, we can deal with them separately.
All right, we'll look at whether or not you can achieve that. That sounds like a doable goal. So you say like you want to pull up to the place, like there are some crates stacked up outside that provide like natural obstruction and impromptu half-assed corridors that leads up to the building inside which is stacked your prize. The building is probably like 2 stories, I would say. 2 stories bordering on 3, but it's probably like most of it is like a large stacking hall inside. We don't have the obligatory panorama view because, let's face it, there's not a need for that much glass, and you wouldn't be able to see out of it anyway. So you described this as you could kind of like pull up in the cart without anyone giving you a second thought, but then you could jump out and jump these guys.
That's the
Does that mean that like this place is out on like that this place leads out to somewhere trafficked, like that people would not take note of someone moving through at this hour? Are there people like close by? Do we see the harbor front down the street, like from where you are, with drunk sailors walking to and fro, and or is this out of the way and like an isolated spot?
It's fairly isolated, but it would take about 5 minutes of pretty vigorous pulling by the Strider to get us back into the sort of the traffic lanes of the city. But if we do get to the traffic lanes, then we can be fairly inconspicuous in our movement. But getting through the district, getting through those 5 minutes from the warehouse to the trafficked areas will be sort of the moment of truth, whether or not we can get by without anyone noticing us, or if they do notice us, making ourselves look relatively inconspicuous.
All right, cool.
If we fail, then we get spotted. Someone may try to stop us or call for the guard.
All right, so that is where we find you. So you stand there at basically on the other side of the street. The situation is as described. What do you do? We have like the long lazy sunbeams of a setting sun going on, illuminating the shot as we fade in on you. What do you do?
As we go past, so we go up to are we close or at the front entrance with the two guards?
Well, I want to give you the shot like a chance at being in hiding and out of sight, so you can like agree between each other how you're gonna do this, and then we'll set about seeing how exactly this plays out. Because some of you have differing beliefs on how this is gonna be pulled off, right? Shihaoshi, you want to like be personally responsible for this, or you want to like in some way play a vital role in it? You want to be recognized for this. Minnow, you want this to be a great success, like you want it to go off without a hitch. Nicholas, I don't remember like if you have any qualifying statements for how this is going to go down, or if you just want the swag.
I just want the swag.
Okay.
My basic plan is as follows.
May I interject?
Yeah.
I think Shihao will actually have will probably have asked if I don't know if that's something you asked for, but he will have, I'll say asked, if he could play an important role. And I don't think he will have asked like, "Hey, Mr. Smolag." It would probably more have been a suggestion.
Yep. Basically, what Nicholas will want is he'll want Evelyn and Minamir to take out the two guards on the front, one each, and then basically he'll be relying on you to. And as a gesture of good faith, he will let you use a bit of magic because we're in an out of the way area to help deal with the remaining however many, like 2 to 4 that are still around and patrol, and who will probably come and knocking at the front door again when the other two get knocked out and they inevitably call for help.
Shihaoji informs you that the house might catch on fire if he does.
Is there no magic you can use that doesn't involve setting something on fire?
He looks thoughtful.
What really is fire?
And says, "Well, let's see. I can definitely shoot lightning, or I could make a whole storm of it, rain destruction down on top of people. I could change the weather to something nasty, but that would take a long time. And I don't think my bird form is ideal for fighting." He shrugs.
Well, in that case...
But I can still fight.
Alright, then in that case you can assist... In that case, yeah, we'll just... Keep... trying to think, how can we play this? Get involved, help out either Evelyn or Minamir if either of them struggle with the first two guards, and then when the rest come around, you three will have to coordinate together to take them on.
We could also just, we could, I mean, Evelyn raises her voice here at this point as you say this, and says, we could also just stroll up there, cut the throats, beat down the door, take the stuff, and be out.
Actually,
these aren't the big leagues. This is like, these are no ones. These aren't even the law. This is like some mercenary company, Ruby Racer or something like that.
Mr. Smolan, now that Miss Evelyn mentions the door, why don't you take care of the guards, and instead of hammering the door down, I'll fly in and open it from the inside. If it's possible to fly in, that is.
Yeah, you could. I would permit you to give me a perception check to see if you can see a venue of entry that you could access in your bird shape.
Ooh, I guess that
could be
will help
part
me
of you having
towards.
scouted the area, like you having this moment where you are not approaching it to like kind of just walk around and sniffing out what everything looks like.
So perception as the stat, right?
Yep.
Okay, I will definitely do that. No modifiers. Space obstacle 1.
Base op for this check would be 4.
Yeesh.
Oh, let's say 3. Okay.
Nope.
So I should also have established what happens if you fail, but it doesn't. It's not like this is surprising. The consequences for not succeeding on this is that you find that you might not be able to sneak in through any such opening. You find no method of entry that is not through the door.
In that case, my suggestion is probably less valid.
Nikki nods to Evelyn and says, "Good idea. We'll play it that way, quick and quiet."
She
All right.
looks surprised and pleased, but first she looks surprised, like she didn't expect you to have the stones.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, in that case.
Did you want to ask something, Rasmus? Hello?
Is it me you're looking for?
Oh, okay. So we
Hello?
have an issue of lag going on.
I'm back now.
Hello, welcome back.
All right, so I wanted to suggest, since I don't remember, if now that Mr. Smolak has mentioned taking them out quick and easy, I think Giallo will suggest that he could probably fire, a streak of lightning from afar as the initial barrage.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Nicholas?
I think it would be quick, but I also think it wouldn't be quiet. So that idea is met with a shake of the head.
He nods.
He says,
I assume my lightnings also create thunder, but I'm not actually sure.
I don't know. It's probably loud. At least it's overt. Is what we can say about it.
yes.
Yeah.
So, so basically, yeah. In that case, I say, okay. Me and Evelyn will basically try and stab them, quick and easy. Jihauji, you can be the one to get through the door from the front and find the cloth. Minimir acts back up to either myself or Evelyn in the event that one of us gets overpowered by these, by these potentially these low-level mercenaries. Because let's face it, Nicky is not a fighter and he knows his limits. The other two will basically, and he has a look of both, he has a mixed look on his face because he knows he's going to have to ask his men to do something they're not happy with. He says to his two lads that they've got to follow Jihauji at a respectable distance and fight and help him haul the cloth out.
Jihauji smiles at the men for probably the first time ever.
Yeah.
And says, "Don't worry. Whatever caused your hearts to stop with fear will also affect any guards inside."
For some, I don't know. Like, let me ask you something, because it doesn't seem to me that you want to reassure them. But do you want to reassure them?
No.
Okay.
It just sounds like he's teasing them.
Yeah, good. So
It was mostly teasing. Yeah. Also, he's spooky.
Yeah, he absolutely is. So, I think they exchange a look, and they definitely don't look reassured at all. Now, your exact approach and any complications thereof in regards to this plan you have laid out. I think we'll take that when we start playing next time. We'll see if you can secure this shipment of cloth. Does that seem fair with you guys?
Yes.
Yep.
I had something I wanted to comment, but never
Go
mind.
on.
No,
We have
please.
time.
Well, Minnow would have been looking at the two guys about to shit their pants at the thought of following Chihaoji and then just say, well, as strong as he is with sorcery, he's just a one-trick pony. Can you see those arms? It's noodles.
So you take the Mickey out of your brother.
He is... It's the ugly truth. If he wants the cloth outside, he shouldn't send someone who can barely lift a sack of flour.
Wonderful.
Yeah, if I may counter. I
Go
assume. Jihaoji remarks, well, I'm more about speed and precision.
Speed and precision, like your argument today. Well done.
Ooh.
And on that scathing burn, the camera pulls out, revealing the entire situation to us one final time before we drop to credits. Someone salve and bomb that burn, and we'll be back.
No, because that's Minumir's job, and I don't want him anywhere near me right now.
All right,
No,
so that's
definitely
the end
salt.
of that's the end of this session. Let's talk Arthur, because I believe you are eligible for it.
Hey,
Okay.
Arthur.
So let's start at the
Question.
top. Minnow.
Question.
Hello. What?
I have a question.
What's your question?
Because now that my will suddenly has a few points in it, I wanted to ask so I could remember, what is Aristea again?
Aristhea is like a state you can go in where it's flipping the epic switch and going hero mode, where you can like ignore all wound penalties for like a single fight or something like that.
Okay, so it's nothing related to the actual skill.
No, I believe you can also use it to it is flipping the epic switch, so you could use it to you could also use it to for a brief moment supercharge one of your skills and shade shift it temporarily.
Interesting. Okay, an epiphany is if I want to change permanently then.
Yes. Like an epiphany requires you to have put X amount of points towards that thing, right? So if you have 20 Fate and 10 Persona and 3 Deed points in, let's say, Will, you can shade shift it to Grey Will. Whereas Aristhea doesn't require, like, Aristhea requires you to spend the points on entering the Aristhea.
Alright,
So you
well,
need to
I know
have-
what I'm saving up for then.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your awards.
Yes, let's do that.
Just gonna find it. Minnow, open your character sheet. That you're not Minnow. AJ, open your character sheet and take us through Minnow's beliefs and instincts and traits.
Again?
Yeah, we need to check if you have earned any fate or persona.
Since I sort of prefer roof over my head, I figure I should make a heist a huge success. They should also help with the standing in the group. We haven't done that yet.
No, but you definitely pursued that. So take a fate point for that.
And I still want to lay low, but my brother is showing off. I seriously need to stop the little brat before we get hurt.
Take a fate for that also, because you initiated the conversation that led to the series of
Argument.
events. Yeah.
And the stinging burn at the end, yes? I need to find out what happened to the product, so I need an alchemical kit. I need to eat, and Nico needs money to give me that. Not yet. Instincts, if I see Jihao getting into trouble, drop what I'm doing, and go to his side. I didn't do that this time.
That's true. You
Because
did.
fuck, he deserved it.
Yeah.
If I see someone attractive flirt, I'm not gonna flirt with my brother, even though he looks like me and therefore is attractive.
That's a very good and completely undeniable logic. Yeah.
If surprised, draw a weapon. And that didn't help either.
It's true.
I weren't
Well,
surprised.
I imagine Minomea instantly drew a weapon when Jihadi went, you might be right.
That is actually a point, but I didn't hear that because I were kind of zoning out while you were trying to have your argument because it took a long time.
It's very nice. I like the mental image.
If I realized that, he would probably have taken his... The minute he heard it and it sunk in, he would draw his weapon and think about, why the hell did I just draw a weapon?
Did any of your traits change the direction of the story in an unforeseen way or make life difficult for you?
No.
Okay. So
Well, we are cool-headed, but that doesn't do anything.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. So yeah, you took some fate. So mark that on your character sheet, of course.
2, right?
Yeah, you got 2 fate points. Okay, let's
My fate
talk.
points, I should start using them.
Yeah, you do have a couple. Let's
But
talk
I didn't throw any
about
dice today.
what?
But I didn't throw any dice today.
That's true. Yeah, we did spend quite a while on the duel of wits. Although you could have thrown some dice in that, I guess.
Weren't needed.
It's true. It's not. It was a pretty one-sided affair. Okay, so next up is Nicholas. Nicholas, let's talk about your beliefs.
Yes, let's do that.
What's
My
your
organisation. So, my organisation relying on supplies must restock gang by any means. Money I will take the research and fly the cloth to sell for a profit. Well, we're pretty much close to getting that done. We've made progress towards this throughout the entire session.
Yeah, take a fate for that. It's not done yet, but take a fate.
Very kind of you. My new gang members and their magic is both useful. Are you both useful and dangerous? Or discreet using it. I feel I have achieved this in regards to Jihaoji.
Could I convince you to get closer to the microphone?
Yeah, that was not.
Moment.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Good. Could you repeat the second one?
Yes. My new gang members and their magic are both useful and dangerous. I must convince them to be more discreet using it. But I feel I have definitely achieved this in the case of Jihaoji, and Mihime was agreed with that point of view anyway. So.
I kind of like you say them when Minnow have never been overt about his magic.
I think Nikki being paranoid just assumes that you have it as well.
Yeah. And I mean, as in terms of like the stakes of the Duel of Wits, right? As an audience member to the Duel of Wits, Minnow is obliged to agree that you won the argument, although he is not bound by the conditions of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you could take a persona for this one, although there would be a hair splitters argument, I guess, about whether Minnow would agree to be discreet. But I think we've established that this is the case.
Being discreet was in his own beliefs, though.
Yeah.
And he also kind of berated his brother for being overt about it.
Exactly. I agree. Take a persona
So
for this
you
one.
take persona for that one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just, he's only seen Jihaoji be completely overt about it, but he's lumping Minnow in with it, like, what? The only reason I helped you with healing was because we did it in a different room.
How's your third belief looking, Chris?
Someone threatens the image of my product. I will kill them to ensure they and others never do so again. No progress was made towards that one.
I agree. How about your instincts? Any of those get you into trouble?
I would make an argument that my inability to trust anyone, the second instinct, is what led me to not simply agree with Jihaoji's platitudes, which then led to the Battle of Wits in the first place.
Yeah, that didn't really create difficulty or an awkward situation in that regard. I guess it could have, but it didn't. And so,
Why? Yes.
go on.
I'm just going to whinge. I'm not going to bother whinging. There's no point.
No, but I think it's like the fact that you mentioned this it brings up a good point. If in like in the future, if you want to play off that you are like, oh, this instinct here totally obliges me to engage him, and where like if you had made like a verbal point of it, being like, so Nikki basically just wants to like let sleeping dogs lie and not really care about this. But he wants to like, because of this instinct, he wants to like make an example of this and make sure that his will is heard and he's the boss man or whatever, right? However you would phrase it in terms of your instinct. And we could then like agree that you have created an awkward or situation for yourself. Then I would be obliged to award you fate for that. So like bring it out, but be overt about it. Talk on it on the meta level and just tell us about how it influences your character's decisions, because only in doing so can we, your fellow players and the viewing audience, appreciate that drama.
Yeah.
I might as well warn you now and then warn you again next time. I hope you let the lady play into this.
What?
We are currently about to completely topple over a warehouse where the man of the house is the one I cuckolded.
Don't worry about that. I have a page of notes on this particular heist.
Good.
Yeah, so next up, I think we're looking at... Do you have any other instincts we want to talk about, Chris?
Nothing that got me into trouble, no.
All right. How about any traits that changed the direction of the story in an unforeseen way or made the life difficult for you?
No, none of them.
All right. In that case, we swiftly move on to Jihaoshi. So you, Chris, Nikki, take a fate point and a persona point, right?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Good. Jihao, let's talk about your beliefs. Wah!
Oh.
My first belief. It is my right to become a powerful sorcerer, and unlike anything the world has ever seen. Fame is one form of power, therefore I will establish a call around my person in order to grant myself the first semester international fame. I will bring panic in this city and among the citizens, and everything shall know and fear my name. I don't think I accomplished this one, however, I think, considering the day's event, that I might change it towards... Who's shuffling?
I don't know.
Everybody shuffling. Do.
Oh,
In
no.
any
I
case,
think that answers that question.
Oh, God.
I might change it towards another form of power rather than fame, seeing as I kinda, promised not to be as overt.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like his belief would have changed because of this, or is it? I mean, I'm prodding you now, right? Because I see either you changing that belief or you shooting for the same belief, but now with more difficulty, right? You have a more bumpy ride in front of you because you can't rely on your easiest methods. But would his belief change?
I don't know if the belief itself will change, but the method with which he goes about it might, or will probably have.
Yeah, I'm going to. I say we can bring that up in conversation. I'm willing to hear you out on that one. I would also say.
Right now.
What do you say?
I don't have anything thought out right now.
No, of course not. That I wouldn't expect you to. But we can talk about that if you want to change it up. I think it would be very interesting to see you continue to pursue it, and see if this is really something Shihao believes. Despite having his agreement and how far he is willing to accept that detriment to his ability to pursue his beliefs and how that would play out. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that for a later conversation we can have. I will say, essentially, because the conversation, the duel of wits that happened like because you would not accept putting down your weapon, so to speak, right? You wanted to keep the staff of bombastic badness in hand and continue to be terrifying and lightning wielding, whereas they wanted you to stop doing that. I feel like you could take fate towards the first belief for that. Not for resolving it, but for pursuing it, right? You engaged in a duel of wits because you wanted to stay your course.
Doing what you were doing.
That seems fair. I will definitely accept fate for that.
Yeah. So let's hear it for your second belief.
I have convinced Mr. Smolak to let us join his organization, but words are only words if not followed by action. As such, I will prove to Mr. Smolak that my brother and I are useful by personally making sure we're successful in acquiring the cloth he wants. I feel like I've worked towards this.
I will accept that. Take a fate. We will see next time if you succeed in doing this and if you can earn a persona from it, or if it will be a failed belief.
And the next one. The knowledge of old holds power untold. Mr. Smolak has resources beyond what I do. I will endeavor to convince him to help me find sources of ancient and magical knowledge.
Another fate.
No,
I think I
would
resolved that
say
one,
you
actually.
could take persona for that one. Insofar as we count Nicholas' accept of the terms of the condition of the duel of wits as his actual intent, which I believe Chris made clear that he did intend to follow through on that compromise, at least for now. Again, you're not bound by magical shackles. You may change it up later. But I would consider that belief fulfilled. You engaged in a duel of wits for what you believed in this case. You twisted it around, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat in this case.
Yes.
Yeah, take persona for that one. Unless Chris wants to oppose your accruing of this persona by divulging to us that Nikki that this belief is not in fact completed.
No, I feel this is he can have it without complaint from me.
Okay.
Why, thank you.
All right, let's talk about your instincts.
If weird shit happens, check if dreaming. I acted on it, but it didn't get me in trouble.
It's true. You acted on it, didn't get you in trouble. So we saw it in play, but yeah, go on.
Respond to threats with intimidation. I think Nikki was smart enough to not try to threaten me.
It's true.
So there was no acting on this instinct.
Correct.
And ask Minomir for advice when you need it. I might actually change that up at some point.
I would say that might be a good idea. You could definitely be more proactive with it.
Also because you haven't actually asked him for anything.
No,
But
exactly.
There was something like in the second session, I feel, where you were like, let Minomir do this.
Maybe I
But
should
that
change
weren't
it to...
asking for advice.
I guess not, but hey.
I might change it to make Minomir do the work I don't want to. We need to examine this smelly corpse. Minomir, you're an expert on this.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, maybe that might work. It might also, be horrific, but I'm looking forward to it either way. Yes,
Well, would
but I
actually
definitely
play
look into that.
into the part of him only being a one-trick pony because he made Minnow do the shit he doesn't want to do.
I mean, definitely look
Could
into
be
that.
why. He plays little and weak, and now he's actually little and weak because Minnow has been the one protecting his sorry ass.
Any of your traits change the story in an unforeseen way or put you in trouble?
It's a bit of a stretch, but my spooky trait could be said to have, along the road, led to this confrontation we had today.
Yeah, I would say that is too far of a stretch. But I see where you're angling for, and I will say that if you can make that work, right? If you can make the argument to me on camera that right now this shit is falling apart because of my trait, and you can make that argument as we see it happen, I would say I would be open for awarding fate for that, but we will have to see it in a more directly expressed fashion than we have.
Yeah.
All right. Any other traits?
Well, in the same way, my gifted trait kind of led to the disagreement today.
Yeah, I can see why you would argue that. I'm unwilling, I think, to allow that. Essentially,
As I
because
said, it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, he didn't object to you having magic, right? He objected to the way you employ it.
It is true.
If you had agreed to not be magic, then there would have been an entirely different can of worms we needed to open. So yeah. No, I feel like this is fair. Let's see about any extra things. Do we feel like anyone earned the embodiment award?
What is that again?
When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onwards, 1 persona point is awarded. Moments like great speeches, desperate decisions, or gruesome revenge falls into this category. It's a tough reward to get, as players really must go above and beyond in his role-playing.
Nope.
No.
Oh, I agree. I don't think we saw...
I feel like I could totally have gone for that if the argument had fallen down in my favor.
Yeah. Or you could also have gone for it, now that it didn't, but you chose to take your defeat with grace. Whereas you could have been you could have, if you had dramaed it up, we could have maybe seen that. But as
You got so angry you blew him up.
You know what I need? I need a trait to make wind start blowing dramatically when I get angry.
You need a Miyazaki trait.
That, or to make smoke start billowing out from under my cape when I get angry to fill the room.
Yeah, you have a trait that's called Prince of All Saiyans. So when you get angry, glass cracks and the earth shakes.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think in Jihaji's case, it wouldn't be billowing smoke or wind picking up. It would be tiny sparks flying.
That is definitely also true. I feel like the wind could be there because he has an attachment to wind as well. So, the cave starts fluttering and tiny sparks of lightning streak between things. I need that trait, Daniel.
Yeah, well, in that case, we will. You will have to work towards acquiring it somehow.
How the fuck would I do that?
I mean, you would need to.
It's like the Disney villain trait.
Yeah, you would need to express in some way how or why this comes about in the world, or you would have to, in some manner, acquire that cosmetic change to your character in an event that transpires in game. You could argue for getting it, but we would need to see you get it.
Sure. I will work towards that then.
Yeah, sure. You do that. You make sure to tell me whenever you're working towards it.
I imagine if Minnow gets angry, it would also be wind picking up and it would start to rain unexplainably. So if they both get really angry, an extreme thunderstorm just goes off.
Oh, that would be awesome. That reminds me, we should totally work towards twin casting skill or twin casting trait.
Yeah, if you start doing that, there might be an argument for it when the trade vote comes up. Maybe not this time, but maybe the next time. I mean, the more you work towards something, the more we see something expressed in the characters, the more clear it becomes to everyone that it should be a trait, right?
Yeah.
So
we already started it when we worked together to help Big Boss Man heal up.
And
now
I think
we need to build it on.
I think if Jihaoji needs to cast some of his bigger spells, he will probably ask Minumir to assist him.
Yeah.
I would agree that making sure you dual cast things would be the first step towards such a thing, although I would say you would have to somehow go above and beyond. How exactly you mean to do that, I can't say, but I would ask you to consider how you would express it through the action that this is actually a thing that's happening. And if you have any ideas or if you have any questions in that regard, feel free to throw them my way. Well, not now, but at some point, do so. And eventually, we'll probably see about if you have earned such a thing and if we should burn up such a trait for you as part of a trait vote.
Sure.
We should totally work toward that.
I mean, it would be more obvious to work towards it if we were the buddy-buddy twins.
Yeah, right now you're pretty much shitting on each other's lawns every chance you get. But hey,
Which is also a way brothers can act, so that makes sense. But
It's just they have a tendency to, when they think the other one is wrong, they pick on them.
yeah, I mean that I have.
Like
Being an
the-
only child,
yeah.
I wouldn't know, but I've come to understand that this is like a thing brothers do.
It's just the way they are. Of course, they say a lot without saying anything.
Yep.
But because Minnow is not happy about the way Jihaoji has been showing off, Jihaoji is completely aware, and now Minnow is picking on him because of it.
All right. Well, again, we'll see like if this is gonna be a thing, and we'll experience that in the future. I'm very stoked to find out. Now that is about it. I don't think we have any extra awards in terms of the Arthur cycle. So yeah, you just you take what you've gotten so far, and I want to say like thank you for a nice session. It was really cool seeing the Duel of Wits in action. I don't know how you feel about that. Like, what's your experience of that system being the first time that you interacted with it?
I feel like it was over too soon.
It's true.
Like,
It was very
we
swift.
didn't even finish the first round.
Yeah. But again, that I guess that shows very clearly that you are not that Shihaoji is not a particularly strong talker.
You haven't had a reason to defend why he always wants to use magic, because his teacher wants him to use it all the time.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
true.
like what we're seeing. I agree with you, AJ. Go on.
It's just, I imagine that is why he lost so quickly. He doesn't know how to form an argument why to keep going, because in his mind it has always just been, well, I should do it because my teacher says I'm good at it.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Shihaoshi is a very opinionated character, right? He has his beliefs, he has a driving goal, and it's like the goal about wanting to be feared and respected and be famous and powerful and all this. Like, speaks of like a need for a self-image that is much grander than the one he presently has, and that he believes he is justified in pursuing and getting. What is interesting is that despite having such a high opinion of his own value, when he's confronted with like, well, your opinion is this, but that's garbage, we need to do this
Benny?
another way, then suddenly like,
Danny,
hello?
why is it so silent? Danny!
Yeah, hi AJ, can you hear me?
Rasmus?
Oh, okay, so she's laughing.
Oh, okay, she can't hear us.
Oh, hi Rasmus. Where's Danny?
Hello.
Oh,
can you
he's
hear
been
me, AJ?
talking, and you can apparently not hear him.
Okay.
I hear him quack in the background for a second.
I'm just gonna finish my train of thought here.
Oh,
Yes,
it-
please
it
do
there's
is-
something.
Hello.
train, and I think it was about thoughts.
Yes, he's just going to finish what he was saying.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the idea that obviously Shihaoshi is a character who has a high opinion of himself and his own worth, and he wants to act on those opinions and be heard and be respected. But when he steps up like he did now, right, he gets knocked down by people who know how to work the room like Nikki. And I feel like that will segue nicely into the future of the character, right? We might see Shihaoshi become a better talker, or we might see him like grow resentful of that fact. Yeah, I think that's like it's an interesting lack the character possesses compared to what he wants to accomplish. I love that.
Yeesh.
Okay.
I am in need of
Oh.
going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I guess we'll wrap up now. Just Chris, you have any comments on Duel of Wits? How did you find it?
Yeah, I agree that it was over very quickly, but by the fact that by virtue of the fact that Nikki had some very clear advantages. But it was very interesting, and I'd be happy to see if we can have another go at it sometime.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I agree. It was over very quickly. I think that actually speaks to the system. I know there's a degree of random chance involved in every die roll we make, but when we compare what actually went on, Shihao and Nikki has the same will, right? So you're both equally willful characters in this regard. But Nikki has what is it? You have 4 dice in persuasion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like the persuasion of someone who makes their living off persuasion. Like you have the persuasion stat of a blooming politician. So seeing that contrasted against someone who just like knows what he wants but doesn't know how to convince people, it's pretty clear like why you got slapped down so quickly in that argument.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's all for the comments that I have for that. I think it was fun seeing that in play. I think it's always fun seeing your characters in play. I've been a fan of them since the first session, and they keep growing on me. So next time we'll find out exactly how this heist of yours is gonna play out, and if you emerge successfully or if you crawl away defeated, and how exactly that whole thing plays out, and whether or not you manage to succeed in your respective beliefs. I'm very excited for that. So thank you very much for joining me, guys. Yeah, we'll play again in 2 weeks' time, or in between, or whatever. We'll figure it out. And for you, dear viewing audience, thank you so very much for tuning in to this episode of Burning Wheel. And please join us next time, where we'll see what these guys can accomplish when they set about doing their criming. So until then, bye.
Bye.